Hello everybody and welcome to another day of Vlogmas. Today I'm going to talk about authors I haven't read yet that I really want to, that I've been meaning to get around to, or that I think I should read at least one thing by them just to know what they are like. I saw that Jocelyn from Yogi with a Book did a video like this a couple months ago, and it really got me thinking at the time about authors I simply hadn't read anything by yet. Which is a pretty hard list to come up with, to be honest. I have 8 to talk about, and it took me a while to, rummage around my to-read list and pull up some names. Because in general, what I tend to do is I read one book by an author and then just don't come back to read more. So it's more like I have a massive list of authors I should read more by. But I did come up with 8, so I wanted to talk about those. The first author that I thought of for this list was Linda Nakata. I have been meaning to read a couple of her novels for years. I have The Red First Light and The Last Good Man on ebook. I've had them for years and I still haven't read them. I have read a couple of her short stories, particularly The Martian Obelisk, which was, I think, nominated for a Hugo Award recently, and I really enjoyed that. But I don't consider myself to have read an author until I've read a novel-length work by them or a collection of stories. I need to have read a good bite of their body of work. And I have this feeling that I might really enjoy Nakata's science fiction, and I don't know why I've dragged my heels so much on finally picking up one of her books. The second author on this list may be a surprise because I think people assume that I've read this author because she's popular. She's particularly popular on BookTube, and that is Claire North. As far as I can tell, I've never read anything by Claire North, not even short fiction, I think. So I'm really an absolute newbie to her work. I've wanted to read The First 15 Lives of Harry August for years, but it's also one of those books that goes on and off of my TBR depending on what I've heard most recently about it. Plus many other books by her that I should probably try. I do own the first Games House novella. I think it's called The Serpent, and I've had friends who've raved about it, so I should really give her work a shot, and even I am not sure why I haven't yet. Another author that I really need to get around to is Eleanor Arneson. I have read a couple of her short stories. The one that I remember most, I think it was called The Checkerboard Planet. I really enjoyed that story, and it just gave me the sense that I will really like Arneson's style. I'll really like her types of stories and the language that she uses. Why haven't I picked up her books yet? I want to read things like A Woman of the Iron People, which I think has a particular place in the history of SFF. I would like to read Mammoths of the Great Plains, which is her little collection in the Outspoken Authors series from PM Press, and I've loved that series so far. And the one book that has eluded me that I should have bought the one time that I actually saw it in person, Warhoth Stories, which I've heard fantastic things about. It's probably right up my alley. I didn't buy it when I saw it in Uncle Hugo's. Another really popular author that I want to try is Jeanette Winterson. I don't think that I'll enjoy all of her work. She's probably not an author that I'm going to read everything by, but I have had The Stone Gods on my TBR for close to 6 years now, I think. It's been personally recommended to me by a couple of friends. It really sticks out as like the one kind of science fictional novel by her that I might really enjoy. And why haven't I read it? Probably because it's the one book by Winterson that my libraries do not have a copy of, so it's a little bit harder for me to get my hands on it. Someday it will happen though. Number 5 is Neil Asher. I have lost track of the number of times that people have asked me, have you read Asher's books? Have you read the Polity novels? You might really like those. And I'm like, every time, yes, I know. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to reading his books. They finally become more available to me. I think when I first heard about the Polity series or novels or whatever that is. It was maybe 5-6 years ago, and I felt like they weren't really available in the US, but a lot of his stuff has been published here since then. So I really need to get onto that because I suspect with everybody's recommendations over the years, this is going to be a science fiction author that I might really enjoy. Number 6 is Julie Chernomyrdin, another author kind of like Neil Asher that I frankly never read anything by, not even in short fiction. I see Chernomyrdin's name everywhere, and I do try to make a point of reading science fiction by women, which is why I kind of feel bad I haven't actually tried any of her novels yet. I've had my eye on the Species Imperative series by her for a while, which is probably where I will eventually start. I think that I have not picked up her books for a while because I was under the mistaken impression that she wrote something like supernatural fantasy or something. Like it wouldn't really be my type of thing, but I do think she's actually written a lot of science fiction. Another author that I really want to read is actually a duo, and that is Marina and Sergey. I believe they are a Ukrainian couple. I will correct myself if I'm wrong because I think I'm misremembering that. And their novel Vida Nostra was published in English last year, and I've been looking forward to it and haven't started it yet. I've even gotten it from the library multiple times and still haven't even cracked it open. And I've heard such mixed things about it. I don't know if I will like it or not. I don't know if these are writers for me or not, but I want to have my own opinion. And it seems like more of their work will be published in English in the future, so cross fingers, I will really enjoy their work. And the 8th and last author on this list, because I could only think of 8 that I felt very strongly about, that is Greg Egan. I had to put him on this list because I was under the mistaken belief that I had read some things by him. I got him mixed up with Gregory Benford and Greg Bear. There are a lot of Gregs in science fiction. And realized I actually hadn't read anything by Egan as far as I can tell, since I didn't like Benford and Bear's books at all. I was avoiding Egan for no good reason. So some of his work, like Axiomatic in particular, have come across my path multiple times. And so he's definitely an author that I don't know necessarily if he's an author for me, if I must read his work because it would be my thing or not, but I feel not obligated necessarily, but I have that push, that curiosity to check out as many of the big names as possible in the field. So it will happen eventually, and I will have some sort of opinion on another of the Gregs. And that is it. Those are the authors that I haven't read yet that I feel very strongly I should, either for curiosity's sake or because I think I will absolutely love their work. So let me know if you have read any books by these authors. Do you think I should get onto them now rather than later? Leave me a comment down below, and maybe someday I should do a follow-up video about all the authors I've read one book by and need to read more of their stuff. That would be a very long video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you again tomorrow for another day of Vlogmas, and until then, bye.